Don't miss in 26. Check out the highlights for New Comic Book Day April 8, 2026. The Easter Bunny wasn't the only one with goodies to share. DC has a new series featuring Firestorm. The reign of the Superboys continue in Action Comics and Supergirl, which continues to issue number 12. Uncanny X-Men get an annual. Find out who the newest Venom is with the debut of Web of Venom. And Star Wars Shadow of Maul hits issue number 2 right before the debut of its new series on Disney+. Cobra's weekly silent mission features the Crimson Guard. Dork moves to issue number 3, while Spawn moves on towards 374. Experience a new mind-bending murder mystery that pits a community against one another in Neighborhood Watch. Dead by Daylight's Hillbilly gets a comic. And Godzilla joins the cast of Romeo and Juliet in a new Monster Piece Theater. Get what you want, and more, at iwantmorecomics.com.
Back at it one more time.
Yes, we are. One more time.
Probably be more times after this.
Yeah, I think it'll be more times a month. But
they
yes, we are here.
Slowing down on the comic side of things.
No, they do not.
Just FYI, there's that keeps coming out, huh? But it's Tuesday. It's the I Want More Comics half-hour hype with Richie and Keith to steer you through the not-so-landmine-ish field of new releases this week.
Mm-hmm.
Just pretty solid rack out there. Pretty filled up with options and opportunities.
Agreed. I think there's a lot to talk about. It's not as big of a week as we've been accustomed to, especially with the bigger releases like the Marvel DC crossover. But there are a lot of really cool comics out there. One that already sold out from my reel, so which tends to happen.
Means you just knew what you were talking about when you put the reel together. So
exactly. So we'll get into it. We have a few number ones. I want to talk about the crossovers and cover themes as well today, but we will move into our first number one through Dynamite Entertainment, which is actually a big crossover series, but this is the numero uno, the kickoff of something that Keith and I have been kind of prepping everybody for. We've had a prequel, but this is the issue number 1 of Thundercats Silverhawk, the really world clashing crossover that's going to take, I think, what'd you say, 5 months with 15 titles. It's going to be a big and very in-depth crossover, I think, with some hopefully some real consequences within it. Declan Shalvey's on everything on this issue number 1, and we begin tomorrow with it.
Don't get too confused on this. Again, every month we'll have 3 different issues, one from Thundercats X Silverhawks, one from Mumra the Ever Living, and then the one that might be confusing is that we will have another issue from Thundercats X Silverhawks Thunderhawks. So There are 2 going side by side there. Make sure that if you are on wanting this and all this, you're not just passing that over thinking, oh, I already got that one, the number 1. No, it's 2 different titles that are similarly named.
Excellent advice. Over at Mad Cave Studios, we have a 00 issue featuring the cosmic hero Flash Gordon. For those waiting for his return, we have a new one with an incredible creative team featuring Dan Abnett. So I think this thing's going to be awesome. It's going to be a very beginning first issue, especially starting out with the 00. I think we're going to kind of learn the rules of the new lore, and then we'll move on to some crazy action from there. Again, I think one that's going to be hiding on the shelves, not quite out there and available for everybody. So if you're interested, I thought I'd highlight it for you.
The Miguel Mercado B cover on this is absolutely fantastic. But the main is no slouch on its own because that's Joe Quiones.
Yeah. Oni Press has a really unique one coming out, Estuary, A Ghost Story. This is kind of a new eerie kind of tale, Cthulhu style, what lies behind the dark kind of story. very creepy, very thrillery, and I think is going to be for the reader. I think that this is going to have some truly in-depth style storytelling, and based on what I've seen, I think it's going to be really engaging as well. It's a tourist trap that actually is a 400-year-old haunted area that could never be kind of captured since the Spanish Inquisition, and has become a kind of unique space to hunt ghosts and something goes wrong. I think it's going to be really fun. Number one starts out a lot of great variants as well to jump in on.
Yeah, plenty going there on that one. Definitely for you horror fans, between the Tim Daniel, which has just got really kind of a cool face to the nun there, or the Vanessa Del Rey for the other regular variants on that.
Over at IDW, Godzilla is getting a number one, but it is featured in Monster Piece Theater, which is where Godzilla kind of jumps into classic shows and theater. And in this one, he starts off with one of the most recognized ones, Shakespeare's Romeo and Juliet. I don't think you need more explanation on how great that is, but there are some great variants that I think you should be on the lookout for. The A cover is phenomenal, but honestly, each one of them are really, really good.
Yeah, lots of great options with that.
It's just so ridiculous. I gotta buy one.
I am surprised that Shakespeare never back in his day came up with a Godzilla tale, but maybe he was just phoning it in.
Yeah, maybe. Over at Image Comics, we have a number one, but it is in our series of silent missions from Cobra. This week we are going to be featuring this is the Crimson Guard from Cobra.
Yep, so another piece of our silent missions there, a series of one-shots. Grab the characters that you like or ride the whole thing. It has been well received. I saw some initial sales numbers for what's going on with this. And generally, fans of G.I. Joe are giving this a pretty big thumbs up for the storytelling being given in this. Gabriel Hardman is on your writer artist on this. It's good that they have artists getting the writer credits, since again, silent issues. Story is told in paneling and positioning and things like this. So it kind of delivers a little bit of a different experience. A kind of slow down and look at all the flowers on the way of the journey kind of a book.
Agreed. Moving over to Ignition Press, we have a new number one called Everybody Loves a Jewel Thief. This is going to be by Tim Seeley and Aaron Campbell. This is a story about a struggling writer that is trying to find his next big book and can't really come up with any inspiration. So what he does is he starts deciding he's going to write a kind of like a heist movie. He's gonna write something in a heist format. As he begins to try to write it, he just can't find the voice. So he decides what any writer would do. Why don't I pull off a real heist and then use that as my inspiration? So that is where we start with issue number one. Tim Seeley on the background tells me that it's going to be both have engagement and be funny as well. I think there'll be some real problems in this heist where there's not a lot of skill involved and maybe a lot of luck, but a very interesting number one to say the least.
Yeah, good with the Seeley gets his own variant on that, which is real typical for all the books that he is writing on.
Mm-hmm. Boom Entertainment has a new number one that I think is going to be really, really fun. It's Neighborhood Watch number one. I featured it on the reel because I really enjoy the premise. It's basically an HOA group that kind of has this perfect neighborhood, and all of a sudden one of their tenants die and is found murdered, and immediately everyone starts pointing fingers. No one's really quite trusting at all in this community, and I think it's going to kind of be a whodunit that gets stacked upon stacked upon stacked with it being a full neighborhood versus just a small, 7 people kind of thing. I think
Now
the
let
stakes will get higher, and it will be really, really fun to read.
let's be honest, Richie. You highlighted it on your reel because there's a Jenny Frison cover, and
I did like the Jenny Frison cover. They had a couple of them. The glow in the dark one that I featured is sold out at this time, but there are still 2 excellent covers available for that. And even honestly, even the ones that aren't Frison are really, really good.
yeah, Suspiria Villachez, really solid stuff there. The Virgin's the 1 in 10, but really good for that. And just the A stands alone really well without a problem there. So choose what you like. Richie will judge you if it's not Frison. So
That's correct. Tim Seeley has another book coming out from Mad Cave Studios, which one I've heard a little bit of rumblings about from people talking to me at the front counter. This is called Pretty Hate Machine #1. This, every time I look at it, it reminds me of Death Note and kind of a demon kind of talking and manipulating a character into things he doesn't potentially or shouldn't do. This one's going to be very slasher, very kind of you're not sure what's real, what's fake kind of thing. But really interesting book, and I think it's going to have some legs out there once it hits the world outside of us.
definitely gives me a little Donnie Darko feels about
Ooh, yeah, that's a good one too.
character having to deal with is this real? Is it not kind of idea there? But
We can move over to DC Comics with their next level comic. Next Level is in the same vein as the All In Initiative, where they're kind of letting creators take more control of the characters that they are writing. A little less on the editing, a little more on the intent. And that seemed to work for all of your absolutes and your all-ins. So hopefully this will also work for our lesser known characters. I don't want to say characters that shouldn't have stories, but stories that can potentially get lost with the big 3. Fury of Firestorm #1 is coming out, and at the helm here is Jeff Lemire, which is pretty much one of the things I just have to say to sell something is let Jeff Lemire's writing it. If you're even slightly interested in Firestorm, I think that Lemire will take us on a journey we're not ready for and pull at your heartstrings in ways you didn't imagine, especially through a DC comic. So definitely suggest picking up. #1 starts tomorrow.
yeah, great variant options on here. Chris Burnham's got a regular and a foil. Jorge Corona, Riley Rossmo. It all delivers. And if you want to go big boy style, here you have the 1 in 25 is by Jeff Lemire himself.
The man himself. Yep. Over at Marvel Comics, we have 2 #1. One is an annual. That is going to be Uncanny X-Men is hitting their annual for 2026. Gail Simone still at the helm, writing away. For those reading along, this is going to be a focus on the Dark Artery and the Uncanny X-Men, kind of a look into who the Regulators are and where they came from, kind of explaining a bit of the past that they had. So real fun for that. If you were on Uncanny X-Men portal users, you are already on it. And then we move to Web of Venom #1. A lot of great variants on this Web of Venom. Web of Venom is kind of popping up in the middle of a crossover event that is happening through Spider-Man and Venom, but this does not partake in that series. This is going to expand the Venom universe. We are getting a new character, newer, I guess, and it's still a who is behind the symbiote kind of story. It is someone we know, but it is not anyone that's been Venom before.
Interesting spot there. The #1 is an homage of obviously Web of Spider-Man #1.
Mm-hmm.
But you do get some great variants in there with Libera, Gorham, and the Juan Feria foil version. So
absolutely,
real solid choices on that.
All right, that is all our #1s for the week. Then I have I wanted to highlight one issue number 1 that actually is late, but not really late. From Dynamite Entertainment, Muppets Noir's blind bag variant has landed. It is late, but it was scheduled to be late. It takes time for them to get all the blind bags put together and out. So this one is $15.99. So I'm assuming it comes with maybe 2 or 3.
This one says 2 limited edition of the issues selected randomly from a range of variants and exclusive to the offering, including a new original cover, colored blanks, and more. So it is expected you should not be getting A copies and things like that inside of that. You do get the number 1 alongside the number 2 that came out this week. Following the same vein, we have 2 other blind bags that are after the issue has already released. Thundercats Valentine's Day Special has a number 1 there, which has 3 books inside of it. And there is the Vampirella Winter Special number 1, which has 2 books inside of that.
Yeah. So I did want to highlight that because, one, we are sold out of Muppets Noir number 1. So if it's something you're interested in, this will be a way you can grab one up. It was a hit, and issue 2 does drop along with it, so make sure to grab those if it is within your fancy. Next up, over at DC Comics, I wanted to highlight a second print. Keith and I already kind of drooled all over this thing during our final orders due show, but goodness gracious, does this Zatanna just pop? Like, that is going to scream at you on the new release rack this week. And I don't want you to miss it. I do think it will sell out pretty quickly. This is new artwork for Absolute Wonder Woman number 16, but this is a second print from the great Mark Brooks.
Yep. Fantastic work there. They do also, for the ultra popular Yellow March edition, came back with a foil version of this cover too. So choose what you like.
Moving over, this is kind of highlighting some really cool variants I saw. I always love to shout out our store friend Amy Reeder. DC Comics Action Comics number 1097 has a variant featuring her lovely artwork. Also, through Action Comics is the Reign of Superman crossover storyline going on. So if that's something you're into, I would suggest making sure to pick up all of those. You can find those on our filter system by going to crossover events, and we kind of highlight each crossover. You just click that button and poof, you get everything available there.
So
while we're here, we can focus on the runway of Supergirl variants that I was going to highlight later, but goodness gracious, there's just absolute fire strewn throughout all of those. And I'll use that as even more of a segue to carry you into a couple of the cover themes that you'll see there throughout. But April Drools is still going on, and if you want to look at our cover themes, and there are quite a few, our filter system can do that as well for you by clicking on to cover theme.
Yep, you have those for. There were so many things there with the. I scrolled past it, didn't I? And all this, the Supergirl ones. Amy's got one, so you can get a pair of Amy's if you would like here. But some people have probably heard of Nick Dragotta now. You know, like,
yeah, you might know that person's name at this point.
Yeah, he was doing this little thing called the Absolute Batman. But
yeah, that's what it's right. Absolute Batman.
Hope it works out for him. But if not, he's got to fall back here with Supergirl books. And then, how are you going to go head to head of Villalobos versus Sway?
Sway? Yeah, I got nothing, man. I highlighted Sway, but it could have been anybody.
Yeah, that's just be happy wherever you end up landing, but no choice is wrong.
I want to use this quick moment to take a look at cover themes because there were quite a bit.
Okay. I'll load them all up.
Load them all up. We'll talk about them. So Star Wars has the Grogu Mandalorian. We have April Drools. We have the I Hate Team-Ups variants from Image Comics.
Spawn kicks into that one this week.
I really like that cover a lot.
Just a blast.
I think we have like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. variants that are in Marvel, and the ones that are going to be the most confusing are going to be the Goodbye to the Ultimate Universe variants. So you'll see the Ultimate Universe kind of logo on them, but they don't actually, there's nothing to do with the Ultimate Universe. It's just kind of like a celebration of the Ultimate Universe's success.
Yep.
That you'll find in there.
I will say the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. here on the Simone DeMeo Null is still a favorite.
I like that you brought up Null. I will just kind of use this as a pitching device. If you follow Marvel, they just put out the reading list or order for Queen in Black, which is a new series coming out I think starts in May, maybe June.
I believe that's correct.
But regardless, I want to let all my Portal users know that I have added you to a Queen in Black All-In series. It will be featured right at the top of your list. And if you'd like to not be a part of that, you can go ahead and unsubscribe yourself now. But your options are there. And if you want to be added to it, go ahead and look for it and add it to your Portal.
I'm seeing if I have, because I think I had this sitting out here. You and I hadn't talked about this quite yet, but I had it hanging around because, that's a different email. The ones I've got are all the different ones coming up with the Ultimate Farewell program, the David Nakayama Whites, Civil War Celebration, and the Magic the Gathering themes. All of that stuff is starting shortly. So
soon
we will have pieces.
All right. Talking about variants, this is basically a variant show at this point. Image Comics Dork #3, the Merca and Dolfo variant, I think is very hot, as well as the die-loaded Toro Tirada variant.
There's your Dork.
That's so good.
So good. Also on the same issue, Dork 3 out this week. You have the High Hate team ups with that. Die gets the same one, and this is the Toru that you were bringing up. That will be popular.
I think so. And then another runway over at Marvel. I have two I wanted to talk about. One is Black Cat, which I genuinely think that Adam Hughes is doing an iconic series of covers. So if this is future Richie trying to talk to you, you should pick these up if you're collecting comics. Like if you're a collector of any sort, Black Cat comics, that early 2025 run is going to be something that people will be looking for quite a while.
It's very similar. Adam Hughes has done it before with Catwoman.
He's done it before, every time. Yeah.
Wonder Woman, and they're books that every time that they come into the store, we will always be able to sell. It's not to say that this Chris Anka is not is a splash.
Yeah, I genuinely think that he's setting the bar, and every variant artist is like, "All right, fine, Hughes, let's go. I'll try to beat you." So,
yep.
Uncanny X-Men was the other one I wanted to highlight. A lot of great variants there.
All right, got you here. The Marvel Rivals is pretty amazing.
Yeah, I think that's going to be very popular.
That will be chased by many collectors. Very fitting for the Uncanny X-Men. Aka brings it.
Yeah.
So well. There is a Virgin at the 150 if you're interested in that. Balion, Peach Momoko's on the Ultimate Farewell. It's
smorgasbord.
It's a tough choice.
And finally, the last thing I brought, and I haven't talked about them in a while, but I cannot let this one pass without talking about it. IDW, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, #17. There are excellent variants all around, but Mark Spears finally hits one of my things that I love, and I think he killed it. It's incredible. It's an incredible cover. If you're slightly... I think Mark Spears sells his own comics, so I don't really need to push this. But TMNT fans who might not know the name, if you want this cover, I suggest to get on it a little faster than normal, because most likely it'll be gone, because Mark Spears catches quite the demand here.
Again, he will bring other collectors in that have not normally been
that's
buying
exactly
Turtle.
right.
I could bring up here, because Richie never talks about Kevin Eastman's cover here with Ben Bishop.
Yes.
I'm sure that will have some fandom. And the fact that they are pretty typically now doing a 1 in 10 virgin for it also.
I haven't really enjoyed that, and I will also highlight that I haven't seen that character before.
You don't know.
So,
all right.
That's everything I have for today.
I think we covered things pretty well. There is plenty more to dig in. We never turn around and are able to focus on everything that you guys could see. But please use the site to turn around and browse through everything. Product is available and loaded now. It was this afternoon. That's the way we always run around here. So if you place an order and say in-store pickup, you're getting ahead of the line and getting into it now. Or you can also turn around, place orders, and say ship it to me. All those options work. That's why we do the technology.
That's why we do it, man.
So feel free to do that and then return tomorrow night as we do our normal Wednesday night show, which I hear Richie's trying to like put on steroids or something like that to juice it up, or something's going on. You'll have to tune in and see.
Yeah.
Be there early for what's going on there. And then we will be back at it always on Sunday night with the final order cutoff, where you can turn around and get ahead of the game and order up anything that you're looking at before anyone can tell you it's sold out.
I like playing the game of like making people like, if you go to the stream sale, not only will you see something I spruced up, but then we're going to give you a cool thing. And then that will lead to getting you more details on a cool thing that's going to happen next Sunday with Keith and I.
Oh, looky there. We just like totally have the whole sequence just running through and all this.
Bunch of secrets coming out. So
pretty smart stuff. We appreciate when you guys hang out with us, and we will see you soon.
See you soon. Bye.
Don't miss in 26. Check out the highlights for New Comic Book Day, April 8th, 2026. The Easter Bunny wasn't the only one with goodies to share. DC has a new series featuring Firestorm. The reign of the Superboys continue in Action Comics and Supergirl, which continues to issue number 12. Uncanny X-Men get an annual. Find out who the newest Venom is with the debut of Web of Venom. And Star Wars Shadow of Maul hits issue number 2 right before the debut of its new series on Disney+. Cobra's weekly silent mission features the Crimson Guard. Dork moves to issue number 3, while Spawn moves on towards 374. Experience a new mind-bending murder mystery that pits a community against one another in Neighborhood Watch. Dead by Daylight's Hillbilly gets a comic. And Godzilla joins the cast of Romeo and Juliet in a new Monster Piece theater. Get what you want, and more, at iwantmorecomics.com.